Okay, welcome to another Back of the Net recording. This one's been requested by quite a few people, and it's substitution, and particularly substitution that involves some indices, some negatives, and some fractions. In order to cover these things, I've just written a question myself that covers lots of questions you normally get in the exam, and it will be something along the lines of substitute the values for A, B, and C into the following. And I've chosen the value of A is going to be 4, B is -3, and C is 1/4. The first question we've got here is that what is the answer to A squared? So A squared in this case is 4 squared, and that means 4 times by 4, which is 16. There's my answer. I'm sure you can guess a common mistake. The most common mistake with that one is people say, oh, 4 add 4 is 8. Well, it's not. It's 4 times by the 4, so it's 16. Question 2. B to the power 3, or B cubed. That means B times by B times by B. And in this case, looking up here, B is a -3, so it's -3 multiplied by -3 multiplied by -3. So I'm going to take the number section of each of those first of all. So that's 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3 is 27. So there's my 27. I'm now going to look at the sign part. A minus times a minus times a minus. Minus times a minus would be a plus. That plus then times by a minus would be a minus. So it's minus 27. I hope that's dealt with the indice bit for you. This one's interesting because we've got a lot going on here. We've got two different letters being used, the A and the B. We've got some other numbers added in, we've got some brackets, and we've also got the third letter, the C, which is a fraction as well. In this sort of case, I would want my students to write down somewhere on their page, bit nice. Just like that, and remember it's brackets first, then indices, division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction. That's not written too neatly, but that should be enough for you to work with. And I've written it down because I've got so much happening here. So I've got to do what's in the bracket first of all, and let's just take these two pieces. I've got an add, but before that I've got to do the multiplying that's between each of these, and let's remember 10A is of course 10 times by A. When the number's next to the letter, it's timesing together. So let's start trying to unpeel this a little bit. So the first thing I've got is 10A, where A is 4. So it's 10 times 4. That's going to give me 40. That's quite straightforward. I've now got the 4B. Well, looking over here, B is -3. So it's 4 times a -3. 4 times 3 is 12. Write it in there. 4 times 3 is 12, but it's a positive times by a negative, which will be a negative. Then these two were in the bracket, and they were being added. That was being multiplied by C at the front, so I'll just leave that as C for the minute. 40 plus -12. So I'm going to my drink analogy. My drink's 40 hot. I'm adding in some cold to my ice cube. It's going to go downward. It's going to go down by 12, so 40, and then down 12, or down 10 is 30, so down 12 is 28. So I've got C brackets 28. I know what C is because I've written it over here. It's a quarter, so that becomes a quarter of 28, which is in fact 28 divided by 4. Now, if you know your times table, that's going to be quite straightforward. 4 7s are 28, it's going to be 7, or you may go for the half and half again. If you want to divide by 4, half it again. Half of 28 is 14, half of 14 is 7. My answer will be 7. That's question 3. And the final one. I put this in here because a very common mistake is about the negative, because B is negative, but also about the indices and the timesing. Or students are normally quite good about knowing that they multiply before they add. They're not always so good about remembering to do the indice before the multiplication. So I'm just going to do this again. Here we've got B is -3, so it's 2 times by negative 3 cubed. Then add the 7. I'm sorry, the board's not very well calibrated, so I'm struggling to write accurately. Well, the first thing I've got in this whole expression here is an indice, which is the cube bit. So it's going to be 2 times by, now let's do this bit here, minus 3 cubed. Well, I actually slipped that in back here to help us, and we worked out as minus 27. A quick recap, it's 3 times 3 times 3, which is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27, then a minus times a minus is a plus, times a third minus is going to be a minus. So that number there is now minus 27. I've then got to add on the 7 in the end. So 2 times minus 27, well 2 times 25 would be 50, plus 54, but a plus times a minus is a minus. So it's minus 54 plus 7. Going back to our drinks analogy, I'm at minus 54, really cold drink. I'm going to add in some hotness, some hot stuff. That's going to take me upwards. It's going to take me up 7 from 54. Well, up 4 would be 50. I've got another 3 to go, so that's going to be 47. So the answer is minus 47. Hope that's been useful to you. I hope it's okay to on a black background with the coloured pens. A lot of people have suggested it's a bit clearer to see on the screen. There you go. Do come back for another back of the net revision if you can.